Guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk Leeds United. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Just a bit of a different one today, guys. We're just going to talk about the season so far. And I mean, I'm so used to the meltdowns after a defeat. Happens all the time, and I understand it to a degree. Like, we're a passionate fan base, and when we lose, we're upset, we're angry. But the reaction after the game last night against Sunderland, obviously we lost 1-0. It sort of cut a little deeper than before. I just feel like all the hard work that the lads have put in this season, and they have. We've won 8 in our last 11 games. Before that we were 7 unbeaten, and then we lose one game of football, and all hell breaks loose. All of a sudden, I hear that Daniel Farker doesn't know what he's doing. I even saw some comments about Ampadu, and I was like, "Whoa, just chill out, just chill out." It was one bad game. We can't judge a whole season on one bad game. We're 21 games into the season, 21. And I think we've lost, 4 times. We've got 41 points after 21 games. How many points did you think we were going to have after 21 games? We got 41. How many points did you think we was going to have? And, I did a tweet earlier, and it read, are people genuinely frustrated and disappointed with our performance after in the first 21 games? Is that what you're actually annoyed about, how many points we've got on the performance in the first 21 games? Or are you just getting frustrated with the fact that Leicester and Ipswich are just doing ridiculously well? Because like we've said before, typically after this stage of the season we would be in first place now, right? We would be top of the league, and we wouldn't be getting so worked up and so irritated over one defeat, a midweek game away from home to a team in the playoffs. We lost 1-0. It wasn't a great performance. So what? Get on with it. We don't have to have a meltdown. We don't have to get all irate and digging people out and calling people out and having battles with each other on Twitter, and it's mental. We've had a good season, obviously after our slow start in August, we had a bit of a handicap start, and I just think at times we're so cynical and ruthless. It's just relax, calm down. That being said, I'm not a happy clapper. There was some issues last night that need addressing. The first one of which, whenever a team comes with a low block, whenever they're putting 8-9 men behind the ball, we're struggling. It happened against happened against Sheffield Wednesday at home, happened against West Brom at home, obviously Stoke last night, and I just felt like by now we would have a solution to a low block, and we haven't quite got that yet. And we're nearly halfway through the season, so don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, everything's hunky dory, don't worry about the defeat, move on." I'm just saying it's not season over. Leicester are losing right now to Millwall. I mean, they might come back and win that game, who knows? But it's a long way to go. It's ages to go. There's still over 50% of the season left. There's still 75 points up for grabs. Do you really think one game away to Sunderland is going to define our season? No, it isn't. No, it isn't at all. It's like I said, and no one wants to hear about, but in any other season we'd be top. No one wants to hear that, and people stop saying that to everyone and whatever. But it's true. Any other season we'd be top of the league now, and then a 1-0 defeat to Sunderland would just be like, don't worry about it. We move on. We look forward to commentary at the weekend. But because we're getting so frustrated with Leicester and Ipswich winning every week, winning when we're winning and winning when we're not winning, because we're getting so frustrated with that, I think people are getting a bit not mixed up. Like, I'm not I'm not trying to heal you mentally. I'm just saying people are getting a bit their emotions a bit mixed up with the fact of, Leeds are actually having a good season. It's just that two clubs are just doing ridiculously well. Like, if my man's a 100-meter sprinter and he runs it in 9.5 seconds, that is, that's unbelievable, right? If there's two other people who want to do it in 8.5 seconds, then fair play to them. It might be a case this season where we end up coming third with a record amount of points, and of course that would be so Leeds United to do that, but that might just be the case, and if it is, then so be it. Kevin, I just watched the full game match on Sunderland, watch it again. I think we're becoming transparent with those types of teams. Yeah, and that's what I say, mate. I've got a little feeling that teams are becoming a bit savvy to the fact that we struggle against a low block. I think the blueprint is being made that we do find it difficult to break down, because we're a counter-attacking team, aren't we, right? So whenever teams come to Ellen Road, or even when we go to their place and they put 10 men behind the ball, we do struggle. We're much better when teams come at us. And there's lots of evidence that this does work against us, a low block. So that is something that needs to be addressed ASAP. Otherwise, you'll find that teams will play differently against us. They'll change their normal tactics and they'll just put 10 men behind the ball and frustrate us. Should have put Nunta. So I think, and this isn't reactionary to last night, I'm not throwing my toys out the pram after one defeat, but I think there is an argument to be made that Nonto should start on Saturday. Now, whether that's in place of Dan James, I'm not necessarily saying that. Maybe in the 10 where Perot's playing, I felt like he was very absent last night. And in fact, like, I do like Perot. He's a deadly finisher, and he done nothing last night, but he nearly grabbed a goal and won us the game. It's cleared off the line, but he does go missing a lot. And I think there's an argument to be made that maybe Nonto should be in the 10, and we keep Dan James and Somerville in the wings, and put Nonto in the 10. I don't know. What do you guys think? But I feel like we got to start playing Nonto. You see when he come on, he just goes round players so easily. He really is a class above the Championship. But then I'd feel hard, hard for Dan James, because Dan James had a great season, but I would like to see Nonto in the team. So whether that's, like I said, in Dan James' role or in the 10, I don't know, right? But we have got to change things around a bit, because I'm not for 1 second coming on here and saying, oh well, we lost the game, everyone chill out, we're third in the league, forget about it and move on. I'm just saying, like, we need to relax a bit. We need to understand that we're still third place, we're still in the hunt for promotion, and after our tragic start in August with the situation, I don't need to keep repeating the situation we had. We all know what a S show the club was in August. We just need to rein it in a bit and just be like, right, calm down, but address what's going wrong. That's a coaching issue. Yeah, it is. And Daniel Farker needs to address that, because it's like starting to happen quite often now. Yeah, he plays. Yeah. I mean, I have heard, I have seen him play up front. I personally, I'd rather not have Nonto up front, but I know he can play there. But it's just the thing that baffles me the most is now how all of a sudden people, how do I word it? People are like all of a sudden calling out all different kinds of players, even though most of them have had good seasons. Like, I saw stuff about Jorginho last night. Archie Gray all of a sudden really struggling and looks shattered. Meslier, he made a worldy save, and then he goes and lets in that goal. Okay, right. Meslier maybe should have gone out forward and narrowed the angle from 80, but that goal was as good as an open goal. That goal is not Meslier's fault at all. He could have maybe made it a bit more difficult for Bellingham to score, but that goal was not his fault, right? But this is what people do. They start pointing the finger and start digging up issues that don't really exist, just simply because of the fact that we lost the game of football. And it should just be a case of, right, well, we'll break down the negatives and we'll work on it, but we've got to move on fast, get over it, move on to Saturday. And I think we will. I think we'll bounce back on Saturday with a win against Coventry. I don't think we've got anything to worry about. I think we're going to be fine. And I think sometimes normally it's in the heat of the moment after the game. I think the best thing to do is just don't go on Twitter or places like that after a match, because I just get so annoyed with what people say. And people could get annoyed with what I say too. It's just just human nature, isn't it? But in general, I'm really pleased with the season we've had. We're third place. We've got 41 points after 21 games, and I think we've done all right. Joe, hello mate. Hope you're good. Mesle is the sole reason we're hanging on to the top two most of the time. Insanely good keeper for the level. Only young. Just ignore all the noise. That's it, mate. He is. He's done brilliant. And he's under a magnifying glass 24/7. Anything he does is highlighted. Anything bad he does is highlighted so much. But it is what it is. But like I said, we got no reason to panic, and I do genuinely think more people were just frustrated with the fact that Ipswich and Leicester just keep winning games. I think they're more frustrated with that than they are with our performance over the first 21 games of the season. And I think it's getting a bit mixed up. The emotion between the two is getting a bit jumbled, because any other season we're top of the league now, and games like last night just slip away and they're forgotten about quickly. Before that, we'd won 6 in 7, 8 in 11, and we were flying. And if we beat Coventry at the weekend, we're still in that good run of form. It was just one bad day at the office. There's going to be more. There's going to be more to come. We've got 25 games left this season. We've got 25 games left. We're going to lose more games. This isn't it. This isn't last night isn't the only time it's going to go belly up. There's going to be more. We've just got to hope that in time Ipswich and Leicester slip up, and hopefully that starts tonight. I think Millwall are still winning away to Leicester, so they've got to play each other on Boxing Day. But I will say one thing: it is crucial that we beat Ipswich. If that's not a must-win game, I don't really know what is. Kevin, when I look back at the game, we did not play bad. Sunderland. Yeah, I don't think it was one of our best performances, but I don't think we were shocking. I just think we looked a bit clueless, and it was a bad performance by our standards. Alison Hale, hello Alison, hope you're good. And there's only like a few of you in the house, guys, 7, 8 or 9 or something like that. I think because it's Connor live and Joe's live and all the rest of it, but it don't bother me. It's all good. I just fancy having a little rant, because it's been like frustrating me. Like, I get so caught up I get so worked up when I see these slanderous comments about our football club. And I know we're all fans, we're all custodians for the club, we all buy the merchandise, we all go to games, and we all love Leeds. But I just feel like sometimes it needs to be reined in a little bit. If we get beat 3-0 at home to Coventry, then yeah, maybe panic a little bit. But a 1-0 defeat away to the team who are sitting 6th in the league. I mean, we've had some tough away days. We've played Leicester away, we've played Ipswich away, we've played Southampton away, we've played Hull away, we've played Sunday. Isn't that like the top 6 that we've played away? Or am I mistaken? We've had a lot of hard away games, and we're unbeaten at home. I think we've had a good start to the season. I don't know what you guys think, but how many points did you think we'd all have after 21 games, especially after the start we had in August with people refusing to play, having not been able to fill the subs bench, and play, having 16-year-old kids on the bench or whatever. How many points did you all think we'd have after this stage? I think we've done all right. There is things that need ironing out, and January is a big month. And you could say it's a bit of a make or break month for Leeds, January, because I saw the other day that we weren't willing to do much business in January, more just keeping what we've got, which I get. But we need reinforcements, guys. We can't. We need reinforcements. I was very impressed with Spence, and do you know what? That's probably the only positive of yesterday is that Spence had such a good 90 minutes and played so well, because he did. He was brilliant. I just hope they don't see that as cover for Byram. You know, I was sort of thinking that because he's done so well, could they look at Spence and think, oh, there we go. We found a solution to when Byram's injured. I don't know. The 49ers have more class than that, don't they? That's I'm still scarred by Rads and all. That's more of a thing that they would do. Allison says, we need to find a way to break the midfield lines, diagonal passes. Yeah, we do. I feel like Kamara can be good at that sometimes, but last night he wasn't. And also Ampadu. Ampadu's quality, but he's not really. Saying that, the goal the ball we put through to Jorginho the other day. That's the sort of ball that we need to do more over the top. So I feel like we have got the players that can do it. We just don't do it enough. And I guess when they've got such a low block, it's hard to find these little passes unless you've got Iniesta in your team or, of course, Pablo Hernandez. I think we need a 10. Some people disagree. Yeah, and like you say, Alison, we need a left back, a cam, and a centre forward. Now, who is Leeds centre forward, and who is Leeds cam? Is Ruta our centre forward? Is Perot actually a cam? Because I don't see it. I like Perot, and I love Jorginho, but I do feel like they're both playing in their sort of unnatural position. Excuse me, my throat. After I've never talked so much. My throat just kills. Sorry. I just feel like we need a natural 10. I don't know what that would mean for Perot and Ruta, like where they would play, but I think we just need someone like Pablo Hernandez. You know, they don't come around often, but someone like that who just bops around, floats around, picks up the ball, puts these little passes through. Scores 8 to 10 goals a season. We need that sort of player. We're crying out for that sort of player. I like Chair from QPR. I don't really know many people in that position who we could just go and get in January, but I feel like we could get Chair with QPR struggling a little bit. I know you don't break up a winning team, but fucking yeah, he does. And the thing is, because he's had his fingers burnt a couple of times before when we've tried changing it a bit, like Stoke away, Southampton away. Whenever he does try and change it before the game, and he does rest some people and bring in some people like Gruev and that, it's always like come to bite him on the arse. It's always gone up in flames. And mental, isn't it? We lost to Sunderland away, Southampton away, Stoke away. All begin with S. All have red and white stripes. I saw that on Twitter last night. My mind was blown. Just find that odd. Weird little things like that. But yeah, he's had his fingers burnt before changing the team. But like you say, Kevin, he's got to be more pragmatic. I really like Farker, and I've seen people digging him out and saying, is he the right man? Has he got the mental strength and all that crap? He has. He's won the league twice. He knows what he's doing. But I do think he is very reactive rather than proactive. I feel like something bad will happen and then he will respond to it. And I get that, of course, but I just think sometimes he needs to, think like a game last night, like, well, this isn't really working. And rather than waiting for us to go 1-0 down and then changing the game, do it before we go 1-0 down. Do you know what I mean? I know you can't predict that we're going to go 1-0 down, but he must have looked at that game at one point and thought, this isn't going for us. I need to change this a bit. And I just don't feel like that ever comes. I feel like he always just responds to when something bad happens rather than potentially avoiding it in advance. But he's a good manager. But yeah, that is something I agree with Kevin. I think he needs to be more proactive rather than reactive. Are Millwall still beating Leicester, guys? Can I just have a look? Oh, by the way, Calvin Phillips got a penalty tonight. That was pleasing to see. Bless him. People say, "Oh, it's charity penalty." Rah, rah, rah. This is the thing. You can't please some people. The man's got a penalty. Just be happy for him. You know, be happy for the man. And yes, Millwall are still beating Leicester away from home. Do you think if Leicester lose that at home to Mill, their fan base will have a meltdown and be like, "Oh my god"? But also, how annoying. Like, how do you view it? Like when this happens, imagine if Millwall win tonight, yeah, and we've been waiting for these two to slip up for ages, and we've been winning every week, and then the 1 week we lose, they lose as well. Like, there's two ways of looking at that. Like, that really irritates me, but obviously it's a good thing that they're not winning when we haven't won. But it does irritate me that this could have been a chance to close the gap. But there we go. I'd obviously rather them lose. I'm just saying, isn't it annoying and ironic that the game we lose the next day they could lose too. Although there's still 45 minutes left. Like, I'll probably check in a minute. They'll be winning 4-1, and that's the thing with Ipswich. Every time I check Ipswich, they're winning, they're losing, and I think, oh yes, at best they'll get a point. Look, 10 minutes later they're 2-1 up, 3-1 up, and they are a good side. I've got a bad feeling that whoever comes third is going to have a record total of points for a team coming third, and I know that would be so Leeds. But yeah, just to chat about the season in general, guys, I think we've done all right. We're unbeaten at home. We've picked up some terrific wins away, Ipswich and Leicester to note, and we're not going to win every week. People underestimate the Championship so much. Like, we're not going to win every week. It is a difficult league. I know it's become a bit of a cliche, and I think because it's become a bit of a cliche, people like dismiss it, but it's true. It is a difficult league. Wednesday, Saturday against teams. And also, what you've got to remember is when Ipswich Town come to town, excuse the pun, teams don't get up for it like they do when Leeds are coming to town. Honestly, like Sunderland were well up for that last night. Well up for that. And I just wonder if they show that same enthusiasm when Ipswich comes down. No disrespect to Ipswich, by the way. I think Ipswich are a brilliant side. I'd actually like us to go out with them and Leicester come third and lose in the playoffs, but doubt that will happen. Too slow with subs. Yeah, he is, Allison, and this is the problem. That's what we're going back. What we're saying. He just takes too long. He's too reactive. But I'm sure that's something he will take into account. I'm sure he'll sit there and think, I should have done things a bit sooner. And hopefully we see that. Although it's a lot easier when we're winning at home 2-0. You see, the thing is, he might do these same things when we're winning at home comfortably. But because we're winning and things are all hunky-dory, things like that get swept under the carpet a bit. Like, if we'd have won last night, people wouldn't be saying anything about his subs and stuff. But I agree with you, Alison. I'm just saying, people wouldn't be saying about it because they're like, oh, we've won on to the next. I guess that's typical. That's just life, isn't it? When something bad happens, you replay it a bit. Amps looks tired. He does. He looks like he needs a rest. What's wrong with Gruev? What's wrong with, I don't know, putting Archie Gray there and sticking someone else at right back just for a week to get him back to full fitness? Because not only has he been playing for us, but he's been playing for Wales, and he's also a 90-minute man as well. And the last thing we want is Ampadu getting injured. By the way, guys, I haven't even asked yet. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. Kevin, I got kicked out of 2 Leeds group I've been for 8 years on Twitter for giving my opinion on the game. Yeah, Twitter's a vicious place at times. His timings are pre-planned. He can't. Yeah, I get that vibe as well. It's all very no, it's not all very like this, but sometimes it feels like Football Manager-esque, doesn't it? Going to make 3 subs on the 60th minute or 70th minute. But I love Daniel Farker, but yeah, he does need to prove his subs, and he does need to be much more proactive rather than reactive, because I feel like sometimes it's cost us points. And I feel like sometimes if he's like last night, for example, he brings on Bamford and Joseph, which I haven't got a problem with, but he done it with like 7 minutes left, was it? was it like 10 minutes left? You know, why not do that as soon as Sunderland score, or before Sunderland score and it's 0-0 and you know how badly we want to win? Why don't you bring one of them on before we go 1-0 down? It's all, I know it's easy to say, but it's like you're saying here, mate. He was proactive, yeah. And he made subs first and it won him the game. I mean, I know it worked out brilliantly and it doesn't always go like that, but I feel like Farke's got his favourite 11, and then when shit hits the fan, he'll start changing bits around, and that's something that he needs to improve on. Because he's a brilliant manager, and I'll die on that hill. He is a brilliant manager, but he's not perfect, and that's something that he does need to improve on. We should had Willie on earlier. We should, because you saw how much damage he was causing them, and also he sucked their defense. So when he got the ball, they were getting drawn out to him. So if he had come on sooner, he'd have had more of a chance to bop it off for a 1-2. He was causing all kinds of problems. I don't think they really knew how to handle him. And I reckon after the game, they were probably thinking, well, lucky he was only on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Or was it a bit longer for Willie? I feel like he come on a little bit earlier. But, I mean, would you guys start him on Saturday? And if so, who would you drop? Perot, put Nonto in the 10. Would you give James a rest? Don't know. I feel like Nonto needs to start. For me personally, we need something to freshen it up a bit. I feel like it's just gone a bit stale. It's got a bit samey. The game against Blackburn, I think it was a decent performance, not our best, a decent, but it was a good win. But I just feel like it's getting a bit samey, and maybe we need to freshen it up a bit, because I feel like teams are getting a bit of a blueprint of how to play against us, which is natural. There's a lot of games gone now. Teams know how each other play, so that's why again you have to be proactive and change it up a bit. Kevin agrees with you, Alison. So yeah, I just get a bit frustrated when I see the slanderous comments against some of our players and stuff. And it's not personal to me; they're not my pals or my family. I just think it's a bit silly. If we're sitting in ninth, I understand it, but we're not. We're having a good season, and I just think we need to keep the faith a little bit more. In a couple of weeks' time, it could all look very, very different. Bamford generally looked done. Bamford's done, mate. He's done and dusted. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't look like he wants to be here. I'm not sure who would even take him, but Bamford just looks done and dusted at the club. Right, anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Just a little bit of a rant. It went on for a bit longer than I thought. Hopefully, Leicester will slip up tonight. So far, so good. And I'll be back before the weekend with a Coventry preview even. Quickly, one last comment. I think Rat has not been great last few games. Yeah, I think he's knackered as well. Don't forget he's gone from not playing much at all to he's gone from not playing much at all to playing nearly 70, 80, 90 minutes every game. I think he needs a rest as well. I don't know when, not necessarily our next game, but at some point we've got to start resting Ampadu, Gray, Jorginho, Somerville. They can't play every minute of every game. But yes, guys, have a good evening, and let's hope Millwall can win.